Hello, good morning. There are some things that are taught to be learned better, or rather, teaching is said to be the next stage of learning. If you're learning something and you'd like to learn something better, you got to teach it. And it's in the listening of people, how people listen, how they understand, how they interpret it, and how they feed back it to you, or how or to the extent that you are paying attention to the feedback. It could be verbal, non-verbal, behaviorally, through body language. What points of reference, what signs, what symptoms um, that you then interpret, that you then understand as feedback, is also teaching about what is it you're learning, and consequently, what is it you're teaching. Because what you teach is also how you live your life. What you learn is also showing up as how you live your life and the outcomes you get. When you're paying attention to feedback, when you're teaching, you're paying attention to feedback. If you're not teaching, you're not as much paying attention to feedback. You may be learning, but not so fine tuned to the feedback as when you're teaching, because there is action involved. And then you need to pay attention to what is the outcome of your action. And consequently, you're more likely to learn better, faster, or what is better done, and consequently to adjust your algorithm to make your actions, thoughts, different facets that make you you and your work and your life better. I have been in this journey of making original human intelligence facilitation available values, and I'm in different stages of speaking the work. So it's from the paradigm of silence, stillness, nothing, while people are functioning by frequency, energy, vibration. And I've been saying there's something underlying it. And it's in teaching what is mostly silent, still, and nothing, like no thing. Yeah. While different technologies are functioning by things, how you then work with things. So a body is, well, a, a fine combination between subject and object. Yeah, matter, energy. And we have created things over time. We are on a planet that has things, including us, a thing. Yeah. And it's in how we handle our things that then determines shelf life, disease, health, wealth, wisdom. Humans have sustained the test of time since some time. Um, and there are some factors that has us have sustained the test of time over time. But there have also been wars and diseases and many things, and we are in different stages of working through those details. And we have WHO's global list of diseases formed over time, and the improvement process is continuing. So since warring tribes, we have now come to, for example, I'm more looking at what can we do to live in life in the multiverse. Now that's a big step from looking at oh twinkly stars to oh planets, they're galaxies, to enlivening life in the multiverse. Yeah. To have those thought lines, to have a person think that. Can you imagine the amount of, the distance traveled from tree dwellers to, yeah, a person saying this and then working towards it and having an enterprise and functioning from those values? Yeah, unthinkable for somebody who was living in the trees. Yeah. Um, and for other planets, they don't know what trees are. Yeah. So that's quite a big movement since the Big Bang. Yeah, Earth had to form, and then trees, and then humans over time, and that's no. I'm talking about a time scale, which kind of like yeah. But what I'm talking about is keep it together, keep it together. Not yeah, keep it together, like how Earth is doing. Yeah, and improving the boo boos. the hurt, wounded since Big Bang. I mean, all this happening to other planets still figuring how to keep it together. For example, Saturn is in different stages of, keep the rings together. You got a circles, you got lots of circles of love, but you got to keep it together. Jupiter's big ball of gas, I don't know, other substances too. And Earth is having earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space. And some people are thinking in terms of wood and other facets. But from a person-centric model of the universe, over time, I came to the elements better thought of is in terms of earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space. Nothing, everything. We have other counts too. But if we haven't had reason to think in terms of, say, space or spirit included in the, panchabhutas, they say panchabhutas. So there are several such details which may seem like, oh, this and this and this too. Yeah, we have others too. So, and overwhelm the whole thought processes. So I can list it. We have 41 Langanams, yeah, limitations that we have been functioning by, because of which I have been thinking in terms of living life in the multiverse. But people haven't had reason to, yeah, what do we need to think about? Yeah. So somebody was saying, you go so fast, yeah, so far ahead that people can't even see your taillights, like in a race. So me and my enterprise, we've aced the race. Yeah. And leading from how far ahead, people can't even see our taillights. Um, there's a sentence that said, um, God said, you will find me in every corner of the world. And then God made the world round. Yeah. And then laughed and laughed and laughed. Yeah. So, um, so you can round the edges and then you will find God everywhere, which is also there. Yeah. Just saying how to round the edges. Yeah. Is what movementless yoga makes available. So then you can find God, because God is on every sphere kind, yeah, round edges, yeah, round corners. So how to round the corners now? That's a technology, yes. Planets, for example, there's the Kuiper belt particles. They may be having sharps and angles, yeah. And then over time they form planets. We have Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter, etc. But not Earth-like, yeah. Planets form, they come together, and then they have a certain gravitas. They kind of become kind of spherical. That takes some work, yeah, rounding the edges. And then over time, further improving the composition is how Earth formed, yeah. So, and then we are talking about God here, yeah. Other planets, they had to figure out the edges, I think, or life. So, in my idea, of some people call it the system, some people call God, some people call life, some people call love. I tend to call, I have tended to call it as almighty dotting. Yeah, like we're all incorporated. Um, Planets formed from particles. Carl Sagan has been talking in terms of we are stardust. Yeah, was born in some star galaxy, etc. Stardust. And over time, we are talking internet and all that stuff since and my inquiry says since the Big Bang, and the Big Bang there is still theories about where that started from. Yeah. So and we are still looking for another planet like Earth. Yeah. So that's quite a time scale if you ask, fast zoom. Yes. Okay. So one of the things that I thought have been functioning about is what does it take to move from 0 to 9 to 90 to 900 to 35, 127? You can go zip zip and not lose it. Yeah. Because sometimes even thinking about these numbers, you go, what are you talking about? Yeah. Because you have made meanings about what 0 means and 9 means and 100 means. And yeah. So by the time you jump between one meaning and another, your heart will, yeah. So, all right, which is why I need to go slow. Yeah. So I said, earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space, nothing, everything. We have other counts. Yeah. So because you may have made heavy meanings about all this, and all of that is important because earth is spelled EARTH, like E is equal to mc square E. Kind of. There are other equations. Arth, ARTH, is also meaning in Indology. Yeah. Arth, meaning. Over time, landmark education also has been talking in terms of we are all meaning making machines. Yeah. Took some time for me to get my head around that. But I discovered we are story makers. Something happened, a stone dropped in the water, and we make a meaning out of it. See, that is why that stone dropped. Yeah. And that is how it affects me. And my story is consequently from this event. Yeah. The event actually also started from you borning. And then mom looked at you a certain way, and then you made a story out of it. Yeah. And I'm this kind of a person, mom is this kind of a person. Yeah. And so the story continues. We are story makers. Yeah. And we have impressions. We are very impressionistic people. Either we impress upon others or we are impressed. I mean, that impressions continue. And the meaning impressions join in particular ways and form, it's more like mean line. Yeah. Like average line. There are things above and below it. And we we have something called as homeostasis. I mean, trying to come into a balance. So we're not going, what's the average line? Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, if people say something, a lot of variations, and okay, what do you mean? Yeah, because that's going to like bring the average line, yeah, up and down and so many variations. So we are meaning making machines. We keep looking for the mean line. And then we use that, and it's not more like a majority vote. Yeah, but it's more like, and we also then look at majority and then say all that is there, but the mean is, yeah, what sustains is that is over time when you have kind of gotten the thing of there are so many variations, and we tend to have homeostasis. That's when we kind of look for. The law of average, it's called. Yeah, but our beliefs also is forming from out of all of these variations, this is more likely there, sustainable, and hence chances are maybe this is going to work. This more likely work because this is there, yeah, out of all the variations. But you could get so tripped by it, thinking that this is more sustainable and hence this work. It could just be that that sample of a location has this as the average, between the extremes. And then you take this is what it means, and then you go to another location, and there the average, the mean line is different. And then you see contradictions. Life is full of contradictions. When you encounter contradictions, pay attention to the premises. One of them is bound to be false. You're going to probably take account many premises because many locations have different premises from which they function. If you don't know what premise means, you can look it up on Google, but premise is also a sentence or a phrase or a logic, yeah, per se, from where derivations are made. Because if this, then that, or because of this, hence that. Yeah. So there could be some statements of the sun rises in the east, and consequently, what have you? It's morning when you see sunlight in the east. So those could be, given that it's morning, it must be sunrise, and the sun rises in the east. Yeah. When you notice constantly that there is some facts which is just there. And then you notice, unless you say go to another place where the sun doesn't rise, it's like 24/7 is kind of dark. And like, when is morning now? Yeah. So I give you an extreme example, kind, so to speak. Yeah. Because we can have this example only on Earth. Yeah. So um, for example, like that, you wake up and then you arrive at, or since birth, you may have arrived at several things. For example, male, female, or I'm an employee, I'm a daughter, and I'm this kind of a daughter. Yeah. So, so a sentence from where further derivations are arrived at. Yeah. Because of this, hence. Yeah. And then you kind of, you kind of base it from it. Yeah, like an umbrella. From there could be several derivations. Yeah. So umbrella has spokes. So there could be many such premises that then forms the umbrella. And then from there are derivations. And under that lives your life, or the genre of your life story, yeah, based on these premises. Um, and if things are not quite as you would like it to be, this is work, this works, this works, and then this keeps happening to me. Unless you examine why does this keep happening to me, chances are you will kind of go back to one of those premises, those life sentences from which you've been working. These life sentences are, there's a thought, then over time the thought becomes crystallized, kind of, yes, this is more true than not. And then over time this forms to, this is more true than other truths. And so you begin to start basing your life from it. It kind of becomes like a belief. Yeah. And then when that becomes so much like a belief, and then over time there is further reiteration that this is true, this is true. It could also be that the environment that you're functioning is reinforces that this is true. When you go to another place and then you're like, oh my goodness, it's all contradictory. Yeah, it's like you come to another country, completely alien to it. And that's when you think, is this true? You've lived your entire life believing this to be true. That's when you kind of, so your beliefs could sometimes, you could have a heartbreak because you've lived your life from it. Your nervous system, your heart and mind are all kind of formed like this is how things are. And then you meet something contradictory to it, and then you have a heartbreak. Your emotions, your thought process are all like, I'm like, yeah, we don't know where I'm kind of lost. And then you got to find yourself. Keep it together, keep it together. You got to figure out where you are. There's this movie called Terminal. Kind of gives it a little idea about this existential angst. Yeah. Where you have lived life a particular way and then you see something different. The point I'm making is pay attention to the premises. Some of your difficulties may be coming from this is held so much true, you lived your life from it until you meet something else and then you discover that's not true, versus you discover your premise has been right because what's happening around is happening because they don't have these premises from which you're working. It could be that also. Yeah. So when you find contradictions, pay attention to the premises. One of them is bound to be false. And how do you discern which is true premise and which is false? That requires a thought process, a thinking process, which is not if this then that alone, but several other processes. How do you discern which is right and wrong? That's more than just critical thinking. It's also contextual thinking. It is emotional thinking. For example, emotion like earth, earth meaning. The movement, Newton's laws, yeah, when a particle moves, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, for example. So there are several fine details. It could be moving at the same pace unless something changes it. And if you notice it's changed, you might have to examine why it changed. Maybe something pushed it. And hence your premise is kind of changed. What is it? Yeah, your thought process, it was kind of becoming a belief, and then now it is not. Where is it? I'm kind of lost without it. And then you have to see why did it change? Why did it change? Something must have moved it, which means it was not so crystal. It was not so firm as you thought it to be. Yeah, which means something could move it and it moved. So your truth that you've been living life by may not have been as much truth. May have been kind of like thin ice. Lake freezes thin ice, and you kind of depend on it. You thought you depended on it until it kind of cracks. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, yeah, earthquake, shake, shake. No. You kind of got to pay attention to those details. Yeah. It's premises. So this gives a little hang on that. So I am in different stages of teaching MITI stuff. Yeah. So I'm speaking in terms of in living life in the multiverse. People are not talking in terms of this, but I do need to teach so that we are all on the same page. Yeah, because we are all on Earth. And I discovered human beings are created to and live in life in the multiverse. And I happen to have aced the human race. Yeah, it's kind of if you can. I spoke about almighty dotting, like on Earth is where we have the idea of God. Yeah, love, life, system. Yeah, and human beings are quite central to the idea of also creating the idea of God. But did we create it? Or did we discern patterns and then they say there must be a creator? Because logically that makes sense. And then, so I tend to call this whole system, because there are so many words by which to choose, as almighty dotting. But then I found almighty dotting also is can be spelled ALMIGHTY. I arrived at that because there's a certain might. We can, we can, yay, yay. Yeah. And then there are things that that's by force. And then there are also things by no force, because force begets force, no force begets no force. And then we have abuse and, those kinds of things. So what continues to maintain force-based, wars, for example, force and might, almighty. If it's all about might, what about those who don't have as much might? They may be doing the no force thing. Yeah. So Earth has been doing what others yet to figure out. So there are complementary opposites. There's force and no force too. And keeping the balance between the two is how we are not flying off the handle. Yeah. Nuclear fission, fusion, there's a balance, fine. So there are complementary opposites, known and unknown factors. So all of this has had to be taken into consideration and arrive at what I'm calling as living life in the multiverse. And the more I teach it, it becomes clearer for people. So we're all coming to the same page or the same book of life, because we have many textbooks from different religions written by different people over different times, including the Manusmriti. There are 50 versions of it. Yeah, so how many people may have written the Manusmriti, interpreting it, and also written over time, and then they unearth another one. Yeah, we found another book. If you look through YouTube, you find different people talking about, we found one, we found another one, and another one. Yeah. So many people have been writing books over civilizations. Yeah. And artificial intelligence itself is saying that there is code improvement. There are bugs in here, and then you improve the code, and then you need to add a certain things. So the software is functioning fine. Yeah. So the code of being human, or rather, maintaining being healthy, wealthy-wise, if you consider our body is like a computer, let's just say. Yeah, because we keep calculating all the time. This is another facet of the discussion, where there's this idea that our body is made up of several kinds of clocks. Yeah, circadian rhythms. There's physiological rhythms, there's anatomical rhythms. We eat something, after some time we get hungry. Again, we eat food, again, after some time we get hungry. Yeah, we work, after some time we do need to rest. And after resting, we do need to, otherwise we can get a yeah, either flabby or too, yay, yay, yay. You need to rest. Yeah. So we need those complementary opposites to maintain the balance. Matter and energy. We don't just eat, 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 eat. After some time, that what we eat also needs to get digested. So then some work is happening. So matter and energy. And after energy, a lot of energy, and then you need to again, matter. It's not just a lot of yay. What is the outcome of it? How do you matter? What you're doing? What is it creating out there in the world? How is it making a difference? It's not just about the impact. How do you matter? Would also be discerned by your learning and learning. And what is happening out there in the world from your learnings, from what you're spending time on, is also the measure of the impact. Or rather, when you teach, it becomes more clearer to people. What is that you have been learning? What is that you've been spending time on? How you have been developing? What people can depend on, rely upon you for, based on the values that you're speaking on. So teaching is an important part of developing the enterprise, learning, considering each person entered the system that I'm calling as almighty dotting, but I'm tending to think it is almighty, MITI. Yeah, because over time, my language constructs came from ALMIGHTY to there's a lot of might, and there's other than that too. So I came to, how do you encapsulate in a word that there are both sides, might and no might also. Yeah, so I call it as MITI. Yeah. So al is like the, yeah, THG, the. So over time it became the, like acing the race, the Humane Body Project, and so we kind of distinguish it. Yeah. So, uh, um, so how far ahead am I? I'm kind of telling Almighty. Yeah, the mighty, and still firming up to, so everybody kind of gets it. I'm required to teach this and have us all become my kind of a person. You know, acing the human race. Um, so to have all of us function as a humane human being, I got to keep teaching. So people then participate. So it's not really an option. Why? Because we all have a different methods of living and learning and doing stuff. And we have WHO's global list of diseases. And I'm slowly in different processes of making it clearer what is the impact on the globe, on the universe, multiverse, from what I've been doing, learning, facilitating, improving, and slowly, those videos I will release. It's also called report. Yeah, a report to people so you can see what things are happening. So I've been talking about it on different social media. For example, I said during 2 years of the pandemic, I was healing the fabric of time space through movementless yoga and the strains of COVID, yeah, that were affecting many lives. Uh, there were not so many people getting affected by the disease, and so lockdowns were getting okay. Now no lockdown, yeah, go about your daily activities. And then as people go about daily activities, they are doing their own stuff, still not maintaining that sanitary, requirements and all of that. Again, another strain shows up. And again, I would go into intense movementless yoga. And again, there will be less people getting affected by the disease. And again, they would lift the lockdowns. So this was happening quite often. So there are some patterns like this that I noticed. So my work has an impact on the health of people. And there are several other such details. If a human being can do that, yeah, a human being, I matter. Yeah, what I'm doing matters. And like people have been studying different phenomena. I'm noticing this. Whether or not somebody else notices it or identifies it, I do. And so I have it to continue. So things like this. Yeah. So I have released a few videos, more like comprehensive videos, different stages. So I may not be picture perfect, but what I'm saying needs to be heard and then engaged in, and then we need to learn this. Because over time I discovered I'm acing the human race. Now I was talking about almighty dotting. That's like a big company in which people are, if you consider an organization where employees are inducted, yeah, into the organization's process culture. So there is Earth, like life. We are still looking for another planet that supports life, like Earth is. So we are in an organization, and we are become employees of this organization at birth. Yeah, and we're all born in different places, and then have our life stories beginning from there, or our department stories. Yeah, and then over time, story points, and then how much, what's a growth development. So there is the Fibonacci. Yeah, for example, is one of the pattern by which growth can be measured, and Fibonacci is said to be quite a global, universal pattern. The spiral galaxy, yeah, for example, or solar system again, round. Yeah, so there is a certain. I have tended to kind of pay attention in terms of the Fibonacci pattern. So I'm speaking in terms of that circadian rhythms, yeah, cyclical patterns, and over time. Um, so the thing is, we all have growth cycles. 0 to 9, one pattern. After 9, again 10, that is, which is another 0. And then 10 to 19. So there's a certain pattern to it. Yeah. Not necessarily the Fibonacci, but there's another set which again repeats itself. So I discovered there are these patterns after being born in Almighty Dotting. Yeah. And as a conscience improves, as my construct of reality kept getting better, like the code of conversations, code of living life, code of doing things kind of became like a technology. Then I was noticing, oh, you know what? This is not how it works. This is not how you interpret the data. Yeah, you see it slightly differently. And that's how I arrived at earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space, nothing, everything. So there are other such dots like that. So the code of how we interpret things. While people are trying to fly off, to Mars and Moon and to have colonies and yeah, because what if a mega event happens? Yeah, those kinds of thought lines. And then I discovered it's the math that has not been gotten. Once you kind of get it, you're not having doomsday thought lines, but you do more the right things. The more you're doing the right things, Earth formed from doing the right things since the Big Bang, because Earth has been correcting the codes because of which things did not work as well, that we are still looking for life in other places. And the planets may be having a little difficulty with what the heck is life. Yeah. Still inquiring into the details. So Earth is quite a star. Yeah. Like star. We look for, ooh, how I wonder what you are. I like that. Yeah. So, and we have 8 wonders on Earth, yeah, different monuments, and then there are several other such details. So we may not have wondered about them as to what have the ancestors been trying to say through these models. Yeah, we have temples and mosques and churches and several wonders, including stars and planets and galaxies. People have been wondering about them, but may not have wondered about the 7 wonders, yeah, 8 wonders. There are several other. Have you wondered about human being? How I wonder what you are. Yeah, we have Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Yeah, in baby class and all they teach. But they may not be, oh, I applied that rhyme to human beings. Yeah, because the stars go on in light and when you're happy and then you're sad. I mean, like, so I applied that rhyme to humans. I go, oh, I wonder what you are. Yeah, very, really, really nice. And then I discovered there are 8 wonders. And then they're talking about stars. Yeah, and then they're talking about galaxies. And they discovered galaxies used to be thought as stars or planets. So as they look closer, things are not as they seem. Yeah. So like that, one bit of information, another bit of information, put it all together in a way that makes sense. I've come to human beings are designed to live in life in the multiverse. Yeah. So the logic of it, people are working on artificial intelligence, putting the code together to have their lives work. That is also one of the impact from my work. Yeah. From movementless yoga, doing the conscience improvement activities. Over time, the fabric of time space, we are all, it's called streams of consciousness. Air is also that gets affected as human beings function. So I learned all of this from what I call as almighty dottings, university.com. Why I call it as university.com is because commerce, .com, commerce. We're all in different commercial activities, businesses of everyday living. And that's also how we have different economics, different professions. Some are professionally homemakers. Yeah, some are professionally mothers. Yeah, they make it their business to have citizens of Earth form. Yeah, responsible socially. Yeah, so um, like that. So there are many people on acing the race on how to do it so well. Yeah, and we also have artificial intelligence form. So since 46 years, I have been in the inquiry of what the heck kind of what it just born alive doing my stuff, and then I discovered there are patterns. Yeah, they keep saying get married, and then I discovered there we have divorce. Okay, yeah, we have diseases. We have some people don't want to have children, and all these patterns. And I was wondering, all of this is happening, and they asked me to get married. Yeah, who's got the problem? Yeah. So I had to figure out, okay, they're asking me to get married. Why? I had to figure out why in the world should I get married? Yeah. So inquiry. So lots of questions like this. I have finding answers to them. Yeah. So with my magical hook, question mark, magical hook, inquire into why. I found many, many answers. So it's like puzzle pieces. Put the puzzle pieces together and then you figure it out. I figured out over time that human beings are designed to live in life in the multiverse. Okay? How the logic is you're having contradictions with your way of thinking and then what I'm talking about, you need to talk to me. You find contradictions, examine the premises. You don't know which premise probably to examine, and then figure out how is it right or wrong. So there is a method to it. Yeah. So a lot of people haven't figured that out because a lot of existential angst may be coming from there. Existential anxieties. Yeah. Why am I here? What's my purpose? Why, how to do things, how to do the right thing at that. Otherwise, if none of the other person is coming up with you did it wrong and it's all because of you. And so then how to then discern who is right, who's wrong. Yeah. Who hasn't figured it out. And we have WHO's global list of diseases. That's also called WHO. Yeah. So there are several factors that I'm talking about. And I'm from the health industry. And people have been regarding health as if you don't have disease, then you're healthy. That is not true. Health is also other than that. Yeah. So it's an entire paradigm of thinking. Yeah. So it's a healthy way of living. Yeah. For why to wake up in the morning to live life in the multiverse? Because other planets, other people, other stars, galaxies, what have you, haven't quite figured out why to be alive. Yeah. How to be alive, how to maintain life and beautiful and all those nice things. And why to wake up in the morning and then, yay, yeah, like the sun comes out and then you go, wow, flowers blooming. Yeah, like that. You be the sunlight, you be beautiful springtime and then nice creations and Shrishti optimization is the reason for the existence of my enterprise. Yeah. Now, over time, it came from Shrushti, yeah, from listen, listen. So, there's this thing of God doesn't listen and all that. So, what the heck are they talking about? God and love and system and life. And once you kind of figure out, you discover how to round the edges. People are working on ecological projects, for example, cleaning rivers and improving soil composition and afforestation. And so, there have been uh, shark tanks when sharks are happy in the ocean. Yeah, we talk about shark tanks. So we have a little artificial intelligence concerns. Yeah, the natural original intelligence has gotten a little tank. We have think tanks, but thinking is more than that. Yeah, it is about how to think and why to think, and what's the outcome desirable from thinking. Shishti optimization, such that everybody's becoming healthy, wealthy, wise. You contemporaries, future generations, their future generations, people you don't even know exist, who haven't even thought about coming into existence, they also do well. Yeah. Now, what does it take for us to think like that? That who haven't even thought about coming into existence are already doing well. Yeah. That takes some work. And living life in the multiverse, those take some thought lines. So while people are thinking about how to fly to Mars and other planets, life that could show up there already coming forward. This is why to wake up. This is why to come alive. Yeah, because there is nice sounds. You got all kinds of planetary compositions. Yeah. So how to live from silence, stillness, nothing. So I've spoken quite a lot. So I'm teaching some values. So we have a plethora of values from which to bounce off of and think of. It's better to live from. That's a nice thought line. You can kind of live from there. Yeah. So how you have been functioning slightly changes your policy of how you live life. Yeah, this is my policy. This is the terms by which I live. Maybe if you slightly improve the policy, then how you live life, the health, wealth, wisdom possible, slightly changes. Insurance companies have term insurance. Yeah. And then when the terms of the insurance policy slightly improves, we have better values, better benefits. Yeah. So they're talking in terms of human life value. When how we script our lives, the kind of genres of our story, the terms by which we function, when they kind of get better, from a satire to comedy to epic grief, we had drama stories to the genre of the story improves, and then we would have more better quality of produce. For example, the movies we see, the songs we listen to, the stories we read, the kind of things we create, the dishes we make, they all improve in quality. Yeah. And what we talk about in the parliament having yay, 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 too. Japan's idea for parliament is a diet. Like when we have necessary ingredients together, we have a nice little meal. Yeah. So I like the idea of Japan's idea of a diet. Yeah, the parliament being called diet. But um, why I also say that is because parliament is also a word for many baboons. a group of baboons is called a parliament. Yeah. So I was thinking, interesting. So we have name placeholders kind of representing how things are. And when things improve, then the names change. We have the standard model of particle physics. Yeah. That is when they discover another particle, how is this related with the whole thing? Then our composition slightly changes. Our models slightly change. Our models of reality, our models of how things function. And then we have new theories coming. This is not how it functions. When you look at it from another perspective, then the whole thing is different. We don't have a problem because our perspective may have been the problem. Yeah, when you look at it from another angle, no problem. From here, it's all problem. Yeah. So why is it a problem from here? You figure out why has it been a problem from here. You solve that. Then it's no more a problem from here also. Yeah. So solution or a problem is a solution missing. And the solution is in place, no problem. You look at the other problem. You're always looking for problems. That's one way to look at it. Unless you say, oh, nice problem, like mathematics. One problem solved, next problem. Yeah. That's kind of nice. Otherwise, like, oh my goodness, problem. Yeah, life is full of problems. Two, we're going to look at it as a math problem. Composition, some formula, something is missing. When you put it all together, solved. Next one. Yeah. WHO's global list of diseases. I'm thinking that's how it is. Yeah, it's just combination. It's just there, it's just done, and then okay, next. Yeah. So who's next? Yeah. So I have been at who, yeah, since some time. People also have arrived with this thing, who's next? Yeah. So they've also been telling who's next. So I'm working on who's problems. Yeah. Every person is who's who. Yeah. So representation of who's problems is listed in WHO's global list of diseases. Yeah. So pointy concerns. So me teaching, as I teach, you'll also get better, you'll become more informed with the values by which I function, MITI functions, and then you engage with us, and then you learn from how to connect this to this, so that you also become my kind of a person. Shrishti optimization. Your enterprise is also, why do you call enterprise? You entered this whole organization, and then you have the price according to how you do, is the incentives. Some people call it salary. Some people, I consider it as blessing. Somebody tells, you go talk to this person, you're more likely to get a better response or a referral, or that person can connect you to another person. So referrals like that, or somebody tells you, you go there, you're likely to find something there. That's an idea. Yeah. They gave you an idea, and then you go there and oh, this is there. And that makes a difference in how you construct things, what you do things. So these are also incentives. Just like salary, somebody gives you something. I call it Ishvara Pranidhana, like gift that somebody gives to acknowledge for what you're doing. Yeah. And then nobody will just give you anything, even an email ID. Yeah, they will like, why should I give you? Why? No, it's like, hold on to it for dear life, unless it is safe and they're benefited from giving that email ID to you. Yeah, then that what they give is no simple thing. Yeah, it's like a key to something. Yeah, and then you better be worthy of the trust. Yeah, like that. And how do you know if somebody is trustworthy? Check through the history. What have we been doing? So you can go through our social media and different things and how we've been constantly improving, growing since some time, 11 plus years and counting. Yeah, and I'm talking about this. So how much have I been talking, not talking about this? Making it more clearer, because I had to figure out what in the world. I mean, I have these thought lines and live in life in the multiverse, but other people are not quite thinking about it. So it's a little concern of being the first one. Yeah, because you have no other point of reference, and you're seeing this and seeing this, and some time I've been doing this. So how to safely be the light? It's our own light that we most fear. Marianne Williamson. So then how to shine your own light in such a way that, you're safe saying it. One is by teaching the values that you function by. So people can see what is that you function by, and not just, oh, light, we got a little idea. Yeah, and then it could be quite perpendicular. Jesus was put on the cross. Yeah. So here we have certain thought lines. Galileo, he said, heliocentric model of the universe, they burnt him at the stakes. Yeah. So I'm making my values all clearer. So you also can refer, is this true, not true, in what all ways? So I have these thought lines, and I'm saying humans are, this is the Manushya Dharma. Yeah, the duty from having a body that's human. That's like what we are also human. There are some things that we don't know that we need to be doing. Yeah. So I'm slowly making those values more clearer. So we're not having diseases because human beings are designed to live in life in the multiverse. And not knowing how to do that has been one of the reasons for WHO's global list of diseases. So, yeah, don't say that I'm the cause for all the problems being there for since some time. Before 46 years, also humans have been doing all that stuff. So I can say, why didn't you figure that out? Yeah. So we can go blame games. Yeah, you, me. We have artificial intelligence. They had to first discover the computer, and they had to discover internet, and they had to discover softwares that can be developed. And then we are talking about artificial intelligence. It took some time for me to figure out what in the world. You could say 2 years of the pandemic also I've been talking. I've been talking in social media since then. But then it's like, believe it or not, yeah. So great people are talking about so many things about yoga and Vedas and many things, and nobody's talking about you. I'm just 46 years old. How dare you talk about these things? Yeah, choti muh badi baat. Yeah, little mouth, big stuff telling. Yeah, mind your own words. And so people could more admonish me and put me in my place than listen to what I'm saying, which has been the case. I also participate in business networking groups. Yeah. So believe it or not. So a lot of people don't believe what I'm saying. So then how to say? So teach, more videos, make my values clear. So you can then connect the dots in what she's talking. So over time, the dots, there will be more truth islands. Yeah. What she's saying is more true. And then you will arrive at, we better listen to her. Yeah. Because there's a natural technology. What Earth is doing, what on earth is Earth doing? Now, what on earth is life doing? Yeah, um, that Earth has been functional since some time, or Earth has been doing. What on earth has life been doing? And then, what in the world is Earth doing? Yeah, maybe that's not a question asked. Yeah, so then you'll be able to figure out what in the world is Earth doing, and what on earth is life doing. Yeah, because we're still looking for signs of life elsewhere. And then we have WHO's global list of diseases. So we'll be able to more track signs of life or health. Yeah. So like a farmer looking for crops and seeds and, is it healthy, unhealthy? You're looking for signs of life. You need to look for signs of health, signs of life. You need to know what are the signs of life and what are the signs of health. Otherwise, things are emerging. And then what do you need to tweak such that things are turning out to be healthy? For that, we need to look at signs of health on Earth. We have already WHO's global list of diseases. We need to turn that around and then looking for signs of life that people are already doing that. We'll be able to recognize what to tweak so that the growth is healthy. Otherwise, there is developments, but we would need to more deal with, aliens. Yeah, protect. Otherwise, you have immunity concerns. Yeah, kids like to go to school where there is nice, healthy development. Beautifully, we are better going to school and then learning. So they will look at Earth like, okay, tell us how to be alive. Yeah, how to get healthy, wealthy, wise. Because we haven't yet figured out how to live on the surface, if that's the case. Yeah. And we may not have figured out how to look under the surface. Yeah. Which is another concern. Yeah. Which is some things about, do you know to listen for the signs of life? Do you know the signs of life? I don't think so. Because we may not have thought about in these terms, or there are several facets we haven't had reason to think about. For example, how do we listen? We have technologies, but do we have all the technologies? We even use a stethoscope to listen to a person's heartbeat, sounds from the body rhythm, or there's an MRI machine or an echo um, um, ultrasound to listen to sounds of the body. We may not be listening as well as we need to without our instruments, and we have ears. We may not be using our ears, eyes, nose, faculties. I have basics on that. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, knowing. Now, don't throw stones at me. Yeah. I'm telling something you haven't had reason to think about. Yeah, I mean, slowly making my values clearer. So you can at least begin to think in terms of this. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, knowing. Six blind men and the elephant. The story of six blind men, they talk about six senses. They may have thought about knowing as another sense, called a sixth sense. Yeah, but we may not have included that in our math of the senses. We still say five senses. Though there is a sense of, oh, sixth sense. Yeah, it's like, ooh, they call it intuition, but may not have thought that that's actually another sense that then over time you can see, but not, you could be blind to what is right in front of you. So you may be saying, oh, seeing, we already know. Yeah. And beauty lies in the eyes of the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So we could be seeing but not seeing. For example, we choose not to see poverty because it's unsightly, apparently. So you have selective vision, selective memory, what you like to think about. So you could say amnesia. Yeah. So there are several senses. Yeah. Knowing also. Um, so there are some details like this. How we calculate five senses, six sense. Yeah. Sixth sense, and then there is seven and eight. Seventh sense I call as a sense of self. Some people have the sense of self versus not. What self? You say myself, their self, but may not have thought about the self. Now I regard the self as a sense. You have the sense of self. Myself, their self. It's not just, oh yeah, myself. This. It's not just another word, but an actually set of meanings. Seventh self, yeah, self as a seventh, and eighth is a sense of wealth, so to speak. I will arrive at that. Yeah, we will talk about this. The eighth and ninth and tenth. Eighth is a sense of wealth, like wealth that you have. Do you regard your sense of what you have as a form of wealth? Yeah, like you're an asset, or do you consider me? Yeah, amongst all these people, me. Yeah, what? Yeah, or do you have self worth? But it's not just self. This is another word, worth. How do you evaluate your worth? Is it only by what people say you are, or do you have a sense of it yourself? Yeah, so worth sense. Another is creator, creativity. So, do you regard yourself to be as a creator? You are making stories all the time. Yeah, put you in another place, you're either doing something, drawing some, making some lines in the sand, or you're listening to something, making meanings here. You're creating all the time. But do you have a sense of what kind of a creator you are? Yeah, the kind of genre of life you're making, you're creating all the time. But the creator sense, ninth sense, tenth is love. The quality of love each person has. Some people unconditionally hate. Yeah, no matter what you say, I hate it. Yeah, yeah. Some people unconditionally love. No matter what you say, Mia loves it. Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah. But we are all born from cares of different kinds. Depending on the quality of care, some people unconditionally hate, some people unconditionally love. And it's like both has its own pros and cons. So you got to kind of have a balance so you don't lose it. Yeah. Or every opportunity, no, not happening. The other one, everything, bring it to me, not happening. If you're going to eat everything, you could get indigestion. Yeah. If you refuse everything, um, the quality of life, yes, you remain poor. Yeah, that's there too. So do you notice these two differences? So 10 cents. Yeah, let's keep it to 10. Yeah, we kind of have quite a bit. So base 10, 0 to 9, and then 10. So we count from 1 to 10. That 10 is also like 0. So I'm counting love as 0, like God, and then system, and then life, and then love, and all of that to Almighty. When you're frog in the well, like 0, well is like said to be like 0. When your what is there in the content in the well is nice, then the frog doesn't have to jump out of the well. Yeah, this side of life is nice. You don't have to go to the other side of life because they got to qualify again to have what it takes to be alive, to be in the well. Yeah, to think about wellness. Yeah. So, as one of the statements I began with is, as I do weller and weller, my space gets better and better. And I discovered as what I'm doing was also lifting lockdowns during 2 years of the pandemic. So I was thinking, okay, as I do weller and weller, my space gets better and better. I discovered Earth is a nice place. Yeah, life on this side of uh, yeah, it's nice. And having a body that's human, so much is possible. Yeah, so you guys got to figure out what in the world am I doing. So I teach. People have yoga striking many kinds of poses, but I don't think they know what's the benefit of yoga or how to do yoga such that my kind of results are showing up in 46 years. So small. So we got lots of learning to do. Yeah. So this is like a baby teaching people yoga. Yeah, you've seen babies, people huddle around, baby doing different kinds of poses, and then they follow through, and then they have fun. They're all the time laughing because they've forgotten how to be a baby. So you're also going to have entertainment. You're all going to laugh. Yeah. Because your nervous system may be so tight cookied, yeah, kind of, that your nitrous oxide may not be functioning as much. And so you have a difficulty laughing. So chances are you're going to laugh a lot. Yeah, in my classes. So slowly, your nervous system will get used to, oh, this is actually happiness. Yeah, because you may not be used to happiness. Maybe all cookied into um, serious, such that you're having a difficulty smiling also or laughing out. Like, what will somebody say if I laugh? Yeah, because you'll be kind of guilted, kind of little guilty in what will happen if you laugh. Um, Maybe I have nobody saw that. Yeah, that I laughed off, and then you go, you know, you know. So I was walking. I go to HDFC Life office to learn. Yeah. So I go in a bus, and when I'm walking, I look around at people. Earlier, I would just walk like that, and then I start looking around, and I see people are all very serious in there, seriously going about the business of everyday living. Until at some point, I started smiling, and then they actually smile back. It is so nice. The whole face lights up. That's the light we've been missing. Yeah, a lot of people in their will go by very seriously going about their daily activities. A little smile, yeah, lights up their face, and it's a whole life suddenly becomes nicer. I tell you, yeah. And it's got to be a genuine smile, not like, yeah, you smile, this is called a smile. And then you will get a response from them. Yeah. That will tell you did something off. Yeah. You got to work on your genuine smile. It's called a Duchenne smile. Duchenne smile. Duchenne. A person actually studied about smiles and arrived at this smile is a genuine smile. Whereas there are many smiley smiles and fake smiles and many kinds. It may do you well to just go through, okay, I think I'm talking and talking. So there are many such values like this. I learned all of these values from university.com. Like when you're interacting with people, you go to, say, a retail shop, you go to a restaurant, you're sitting and having your meal, you look around. So all bits of information. As you put the information together in appropriate manner, like puzzle pieces putting together, life becomes all nice. So from university.com of almighty.inc, because I am learning all of this after being born only. Yeah. So how have I been spending my time? These 46 years like this, looking at things and then making sense of it, and then working through contradictions, this and this. Yeah. I figure out there are no contradictions in life. What there is lack of perspective. And that sentence was given to me by a friend. We were talking about logic, and that person gave me the sentence. And then I've been thinking in terms of that. And life has been interesting. So now I'm sharing this sentence with you too. So just think about it. Yeah. There are many such sentences like this. These are canonical statements. Not entirely true, but they could lead to those compassionate um, thought lines, sentences, which makes life so much more nicer. You live life from those compassionate values. You have some of the mighty advantages because Darwin's theory of natural selection has been about how compassion has been playing a role in the whole um, selection of species. Yeah, survival of the fittest. Um, the fittest may not have been who has more might, but the ability to be compassionate, because it takes something to be compassionate, and that takes some courage. For example, a nurse a physician in the place where a person is kind of struggling between life and death, and to stand by life, stand by health, when they may be like, I have no support, how do I'm kind of going through existential angst, and for them to find that support by which to be on this side of life, and then everything else, they can get things together and have their life function such that they're on this side of life, and then healing. It takes something, yeah, to have that strength of compassion. Um, and that also um, is a is a function by which you figure out what it takes to not go into those bad spaces, yeah, and and to have the substance by which to be alive, maintain being alive, and to support thriving from having what it takes to be alive, what it means to be alive, yeah. So we will cover all those. For example, I call this as trauma. Many people, this happened in my life. To Uma. Uma is said to be a goddess. Yeah, talking like this. So I will pause now. So there's a lot of information. So do contact me, and we'll have a better thought, better ways of living. Yeah, we will have less cold, chill. Yeah, frozen queens. A lot of us are kind of um, having our serious faces. Don't know how to melt a little, such that we are having that smile, and then beautiful, and then warm heart, and then connect with people, and then let's have a meal like potluck. Yeah, we eat at a place, and then we share. I'm creating this. I have this idea, and share an idea, and then we have better ways of doing things and all that. Yeah. Thank you so much for your kind interest. I'm yet to learn how to say, um, let's meet again. Okay. Mm. Okay, so there's a song. Life is a road and I wanna keep going. Life is a river, I wanna keep flowing. Yeah. So that's like not finish line. Yeah, we got lots of stuff. Zero is also 10 is the next is zero. Yeah. So I'm telling you. Yeah. Not finish line. Yeah. Uh, we got to work through what it takes to pay attention to all those details, and then dissolve, work to those details such that we are relevant and we are still adding value and we are becoming better. Because we got to digest those cookies that says, oh, you're now done. Yeah, now write a book and then your story over. No, we improve the stories. Yeah, and then there is more stuff. So there's this book called Autobiography of a Yogi. A yogi, person who's yogaing, integrating, making better stuff. Your life story is an ongoing thing. Your autobiography is, it's called Prakriti. Yeah, your body clock. Your body has clock, many clocks, circadian rhythms. So how your wheels turn, yeah, thought wheels, body wheels, how they turn, the story keeps getting better. So your autobiography is automatic, it's happening. Autobiography is happening, and then people keep learning for they're studying life in many ways, and then they see we have this story. Interesting. Yeah. So how to make sense of all of this, and then you can write books. So you have that also to read, but you're valuable. Yeah. So that's also called human life value. So write books, make your creators products available on different social media. We have so many social media handles, and teach people your values, how you will live life. Contact me if you're having a difficulty improving your values, and then you will have more stuff to teach and then make available, because everybody born in their own location on earth with their own family, their own background, family tree. They got lots of stories, and some are like such, oh my goodness, stories. Yeah. Genres. Yeah. So you improve your story, your family line story, and then we live life in the multiverse. People are looking at signs of life, they will find signs of life. And then healthy signs of life. That takes improving our meristem intelligence. That's my enterprise's name. Yeah. So we have to improve our meristem intelligence. For people looking at stars, signs of life, they will see these are life. And a healthy life That we can adjust by improving the quality of creation. Shrishti optimization, what we are doing, we are all creators. How we function, what we talk, what we do with our body, even when we are not doing anything. It's also called karma. How our wheels are churning also affects earth, water, fire, spirit, space. So they are influenced by how your body is churning. And that affects, for example, is COVID forming or another flower? We have another flower. Some people discovered another crystal. Yeah, some people discovered a new insect. Yeah, things like that. So, Shishti, like that happens, or you have COVID. Yeah, so if you're having diseases showing up, okay, we need to improve our medicine intelligence. Yeah. So, what does that take? So, that takes certain values by which to function. That's Earth's technology. Earth has been doing stuff dealing with existential concerns also, and such that we have also had disease causing creations. And other planets haven't yet figured out how to have life. Yeah. So Earth has also been dealing with challenges and how to Shrishti optimize. How to raise the raise, how much? Yeah. Okay. How to have nice little beautiful creations. People are cleaning oceans and yeah, land and working on reforestation and interesting. Yeah. So how new am I? Yeah. Out of the world. But it's not a bad thing. Yeah. To contact me, we all do what human beings have been created for. Yeah. Mm. Talk to you later, alligator. Okay. Talk to you later, alligator. Bye. Good day.